Hello, welcome back to Tech Corner with myself, Shea. In this video, I'm going to be sampling a synthesizer, that Eurorack one, with an MPC, that one there. So I'm going to be using some very basic synthesis, simple saw wave from one of the modules here, run it through some of the effects that are also in this system, sample it into the MPC, and create a loop out of it and see what we get. So I don't know what I'm going to do at the moment, but all I know that it's mad fun. And it's completely original, and I love it. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so here we have the setup. This is the Eurorack synthesizer. I have done a video previously on this for Tech Corner, and this was taken to Metropolis, where I just talked through the idea of modular synthesis. But this is it in my home setup. And today I'm going to be using this single voice here. This is a Doepfer A116. This is a single synth voice, and I'll talk you through that now just so you know what it is I'll be using. It is a single oscillator, all-encompassing voice, so it has a filter in it which is resonant with a filter depth amount. You have pulse width modulation as well as pitch modulation, but you have to pick between each one, an amount for that, and then an overall pulse width amount. You have two waves to choose from, either a triangle wave or a sine wave. I'm going to be using the sine today. You have a balance knob here. This basically draws in like a sub oscillator. I'm not sure whether it's a fifth or a sub oscillator. I'm probably not going to be using that today, but we'll see. We have a general gain here, so this is an open square wave. As soon as you just open it, I'll try and open it now. It'll just give you that as soon as you open it up, irrelevant of pitch. And then you have an envelope here. So this is even though it's only two knobs, it's quite a comprehensive envelope. You've got versions attack and decay only, an ADSR, a full ADSR, so attack, decay, sustain, release, or an AR, attack, release. I'm going to be using this in AD because I'm going to be trying to sample some plucked style loops today. You have an attack knob and a decay or release knob there. And at the bottom you have your host of CV ins and outs. How I have this set up, so basically this synth voice is coming out into this mixer. Normally I just have all the other synths and all the other, like that one, the sampler plugged into here. This mixer then comes out, goes into this wasp filter, of which is I'm really just using because it's got a very nice overdriven gain, and if I do want to use an overall filter for all of the sounds combined from this mixer, I can use it there. It then comes out of this filter and goes into this effects unit here. This is called the Disting. This is the Mark IV version. This does plenty of other things. It's like the Swiss Army knife of modular, but I'm using this as a delay. It then comes out of the delay, so a mono signal in going to a ping pong left and right out. It then goes into this module on the right, which is a version of the clouds. It's called Monsoon, and I'm using the reverb algorithm within this, just to add some reverb to it. I also have a joystick down here. I'm not using this at the minute, but I might patch it in. So in order for me to play this synthesizer, I'm using the MPC to do it. So I have a track on the synthesizer here, which is a CV track, which sends out gate and CV or note information, which is these red and white cables here. So if I play, I've got full control there over the synthesizer. So let me turn this down a bit. Nice. So let's get straight into it. What I'm going to do is try and figure out how I'm going to make the noise with this first of all before I even think about sampling it. So let's just play a C note. I'm going to put this into envelope mode. Cool. I'm going to turn the filter down. We're already getting it to sound kind of nice here. Let's see what it sounds like on the triangle wave. I prefer it on this wave actually. Envelope, keep that in. Turn all this down. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record that little pass down because I'm quite liking that. I'm making a lot of sort of techno-y sort of house at the minute, kind of moody. So I'm going to get that down. Let's record that down. Cool, so I've got some noise to play with now. Now I'm going to mess around with the synthesizer parameters to get that specific sound that I want. Let's play around with the filter resonance. Maybe a longer on the decay. Kind of like how that whips. Let's add in some of this reverb. Let's darken it up a bit. Let's add in some of this delay. It's kind of nice. See what it's like an octave down. Too low high. That's really nice there. I might add in some of this sub oscillator. It's kind of nice there, a bit more resonance. Bit more of a whip to the sound. So I'm really liking that. So what I'm going to do now is sample that in. So if you look over to the screen now, you'll see over here I've got the UAD Apollo console hooked up. Now what's happening is the sound is coming out of the Euro rack via these two cables here, and it's going into this channel of the Apollo console. And on this channel I have two plugins. First of all, I've got the Neve 1073 mic preamp emulation plugin. Now this plugin is very expensive in real hardware terms, but I just love the sound of it. So what I'm doing is I'm driving the gain up and slowly turning down the output a bit just to get a bit more crunch to it. But then I'm also adding this SSL channel strip. So here you can see I'm adding in some top end in both cases, taking out a little bit of low mid frequency and adding some bass. These two together are excellent, really good plugins together, and it kind of gives that vintage sort of sound, exactly what I'm going for. So what I'm going to do now is, instead of this coming out of the monitor, I'm going to have this coming out of 7 and 8. Now out of shot here I've got a patch bay where I've patched the outputs from my audio interface back into the sampler inputs for this MPC. So now what I can do is come to a new program. I've called this one main. It's got no samples on it, and I'm going to double click mix and it will take me through to the sampler. Now you can see here I've got monitor in, so when I press play you'll hear it back. The only difference is now you'll probably hear this back maybe a little bit wonky and very mono, because it plays back instantly through inputs 1 and 2, which is not what I have set up on the MPC. 1 and 2 are kick and snare, which have slightly different controls and parameters for them. So it might sound a bit weird now, but at least I know that I'm getting the correct signal in. We're just hearing it back mono. It's not being sampled in mono. So let's see if we can hear it. Nice, so I can see I've got a good signal coming in. Maybe turn it up a bit. Adjust the parameters a bit more. Turn that delay down a touch. Cool, so what I'm going to do is sample that pretty much. Press ARM and let's go. Waiting for signal. Let's do this. Set that tail right out. Stop the sample. Awesome. So now what I can do is rename the sample. So I'm going to name this one, let's just call this Tech Corner. That'll do. I'm going to save this sample and I'm going to save it to my Eurorack samples. So I've got a load of banks here set up. Synth here, let's call this Tech Corner. I'll make sure I put the name of the synth that I've recorded it from first. So this is the Dopefer. The Dopefer synth, Tech Corner, excellent. Come back and I'm going to assign this to the first pad on my group. So I'm going to keep that. So now when I come back, So now look, as you can see here, I've got my sample laid in. And now this is playing back through the MPC's outputs. It's a sample that's been saved. I can do what I want to this now. I can further manipulate this. I can change the process. Let's maybe normalize this sample. This might be crazy loud. Let's see. So yeah, it's a bit too loud. I'll undo that. But as you can see, that is how easy it is to sample something. Now I've got this sample ready. It's 125 beats per minute loop, so I know that I'll be able to drag that into any kind of house track that I'll be making that's around that tempo. It's in C minor, which is normally what I'm going for just to start off with. But again, I can always change that and transpose the loop up. As you can see, there's loads of things we can do to it. I can reverse the whole sample if I want to. Let's put that in. So I'm going to change the endpoint, and then we'll go to reverse. So let's go to our program edit. This track, let's play it in reverse. Ready? Let's go back to the dope for here. Let's mute that track. Let's go straight in and record that in. So let's record that into our pass. Let's put on a 4-bar loop. Now this should just loop over continuous. Nice, let's go now. I've got some drums in here. Let's put a kick drum down. Record that in over the top. Put a hi-hat in. So again, yeah, we've already got the start of a tune there. We've got the beat in, we've got the sort of the main melody going. Copy that main melody over as a bass line. But yeah, that's sampling Eurorack synthesizer, basic saw wave voice, utilising the filter and the envelope, recording it into the MPC as a new sample, manipulating it a bit, and then having the options to mess around with it. So yeah, cheers.